couple of years ago we dropped DirecTV, and so don't get Sunday Ticket anymore, and we were looking to save money so that we could pay off all our car debts and all the other debts that we had. And really don't miss watching a lot of stuff on TV anymore. We have a few streaming services, although we just not dropped Netflix because, frankly, there's nothing on Netflix anymore. I mean, I was a member of Netflix from very early on, and set up a DVD list. And they'd send you, I think I had the membership deal that gave you 3 discs at a time, so you watch the first one, you send it back, and they send you the 4th one on your list, and you just keep going like that. Plus you could stream, although there wasn't as much on streaming service as there was on DVD. And then they split the 2 services, which was possibly a bad idea, because we stopped the DVD service because it was going to cost as much to stay on the DVD service as it was to stream, and they had a lot more on streaming. So okay, fine, that was good. But with Amazon now and Hulu and a lot of the TV stations taking their own streaming service, so on Netflix you could watch any of the CBS shows, no problem, and then CBS came along and said, yeah, we're doing our own streaming service, so all of our shows that are on Netflix can't have them anymore. Disney's doing the same thing with Star Wars and the Marvel Universe. And Netflix is still putting their subscription rates up. But there's less available on Netflix.
What I missed?
And so it's sort of, you're charging me more for less available shows. And frankly, your Netflix exclusives, I'm not really taken with. You run them 2 years and then you cancel them. Well, when I watch a show, I like to get invested in it and know where the story's going. And if you're going to cancel it after 2 years, frankly, I can't be bothered to invest time in a show when you're never going to reach the end of the story. We have Amazon Prime for shipping reasons, but you get streaming service there. We have Hulu, and wife just recently increased our Hulu to live TV, Hulu with live TV, so we can watch TV shows as well, live as opposed to waiting 24 hours for them. And that's really sufficient, at least as far as I'm concerned. That's sufficient. So now I am looking forward to The Expanse. Season 4 should be coming to Amazon around about December. Now, I never actually saw that on Sci-Fi when it came out. There were 3 seasons run on Sci-Fi, and then Sci-Fi decided to cancel it, which again would have pissed me off. I've invested 3 years in the show and it's just getting interesting, and you're deciding you're not going to run it anymore. But Amazon picked it up for season 4 and everything's changed. And it is a very well put together show. There's another one I used to watch on Netflix, I think it was on Netflix, called Dark Matter. And that just, yeah, we're not doing that one anymore. So, seriously? Okay. There's another one called Travellers, which I watched, and then they cancelled that as well. So, if you're not going to keep these shows running, I'm not going to stick with you. And I'm not going to bother watching new ones because you're not going to give them a good showing. I think at the moment the only long-term show I've really stuck with, and we skipped the last few seasons, was NCIS, which we watched from the get-go. I mean, I watched JAG before NCIS was a thing. But those are long-running shows where I don't mind if they end. It was a good show, it had a very long run. And successful. Same with JAG. JAG ran for 7-8 years, I think. Although I believe it was NBC originally for the first season, and then CBS picked it up when NBC dropped it. But I'm not sure NCIS is going much beyond the end of the current season. There's another show. Oh, Jack Ryan. That's also on Amazon. Jack Ryan, if you've been to the movies, was the CIA operative in The Hunt for Red October, played by one of the Baldwin brothers, and followed up, played by Harrison Ford, I think, for Clear and Present Danger, and was it Patriot Games? I can't remember. Yes, Patriot Games. All Tom Clancy books. And then Amazon decided to produce a TV series based on the character. This is taking its time. It's probably ploughing. It doesn't have a good working width. Generally has a good working speed, but to get the width you really need some heavy tractors. I'm guessing we're almost a third done. We'll check when we get to the top. Yeah, about a third of the way. Yeah, with NCIS, I think, so the last season Abby was in, we struggled to catch it. Of course, part of the problem is it's on CBS, and at the time you could watch it on CBS.com only, and if you didn't watch an episode within about 2 or 3 weeks of broadcast, they removed it from that service. Now you can go back and pay for CBS All Access and watch any show you want, but frankly, no. Still a little annoyed that when Hulu was originally set up, it was effectively all of the TV stations just saying, hey, we want to stream our stuff from a central location. And CBS basically said, no, we don't want to play with you guys. We want to do our own thing and make all the money, as opposed to sharing it. Yeah, good luck with that. And since then they've done, we're going to do exclusives on CBS All Access, new Star Trek shows. And so, well, that's nice. But it's not enough for me to want to pay you loads of money to access your streaming channel. I was kind of the same with Disney, except Disney's now decided they're going to do a package deal with Hulu. Basically, it was this year, Disney bought Fox, which has a partial stake in Hulu, and what's Seth MacFarlane's not Star Trek show? I can't remember what it's called, but that's a Fox show. And last year Fox did a deal with him to basically give him a similar format to streaming shows, which is more story time, less commercial time. And he was really happy with that because it allowed him to tell more complex stories because he had more time to do it. See, a normal show is about 43 minutes of story, and the other 17 to 20 minutes is commercial breaks. And Fox basically said to Seth, you can do 45-minute stories. So the extra 5 minutes gave him a little bit more freedom. Well, Disney bought Fox, and so there was a big question of, well, is Seth MacFarlane's show going to get renewed? And Disney basically said it's not really a TV show, but it does work well on streaming, so we want to stream it. However, it's a little risque, so it's not family friendly, so we don't want to put it on the Disney Plus streaming service. However, since we own a partial stake in Hulu, we'll put it on Hulu, which of course has given Seth MacFarlane a little bit more leeway because it's not on broadcast TV, so no FAA rules, he can be even more risque than he could on Fox. The Orville. So for the coming season, which isn't going to be now, it's going to be later next year, it's going to be a Hulu exclusive. with 45-minute stories as opposed to 40-minute stories. So that'd be interesting to see how that works out for him. But really, most of my viewing consumption is YouTube videos and the occasional Twitch. But with me streaming myself, I'm less watching Twitch streams. That's not going to work, is it? Darn. Than I am producing my own. Although with Arthur's stuff, that does make it easier for me. It used to be I'd watch the streams and then watch the videos and get 20 minutes into the videos. Oh, I've seen this one already. Because I was watching Twitch. Which is why whenever I'm watching his Twitch channel, I'll usually say something immediately so that it gives me a hint if I end up watching the YouTube run, the sort of, oh no, there's me saying something, I don't need to watch the rest of this one. But more recently with Arthur streaming at all hours of the night and what have you, that's usually the sort of time I'm going to bed. I should really think about doing a couple of rows along the top of this field as well. Work a bit better. These rows are horrible. Yeah, he's Friday nights. I mean, back when we had the kids, he was streaming at sort of 7 o'clock or earlier, and that's difficult for me to make when we got kids in the house because there's food, baths and everything else, and I can't stream until 8 o'clock. Now we don't have kids in the house, it's not such a big issue, but I'm usually streaming from sort of 8 o'clock until 10:30, and if he's starting his stream at 10 o'clock and going for 2 hours, that's midnight, and even on a Friday I'm exhausted because I've been working all day. Okay, let's raise that there. Try not to. Let's drive into that tree again, because that's always good for a laugh. And then we'll turn this way. Rotate the thing, and we'll run across the top of the field a few times. No, I do want that the other way around. Okay. Okay, we'll plough up the road because that's a good plan. I think the last time I played on Arthur's farm was when we planted all the cotton and then said, okay everybody, if you come on during this week, do not harvest the cotton because we're going to do that on the next stream. And then I think the week later That stream was cancelled. And then since then, when he has streamed, it's been 10 o'clock at night and I've already been in bed asleep. Lift that before we get on the grass. That's field 89, that's field 91. No, I'm on field 91. What am I looking at? Oh, 64 is off to the left. Okay. We'll stop. It's something to do that's different. I believe it is fairly lucrative, but the machinery costs a fortune. You know, it's like getting into sugar beet harvesting. It costs you an arm and a leg to buy all the equipment you need for it, but you can make quite a bit of money on it. Same with potatoes. Potatoes are deadly boring. But give me a small field like, say, that one there, 85, and you can make a fair amount of money on the potatoes. And if you've got the storage, you keep...
Yes! Go, 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 go!
You keep a bunch of potatoes for seed the following year and sell your excess. Similar with sugar cane. You know, the crop is the seed, and so you can, you know, you don't, once you've bought the seed and planted it, from there onwards you don't have to buy any more seed so long as you play it carefully. I mean, obviously if you sell it all, then you've got to buy new seed, and seed costs a lot more than reloading your seeder with the potato crop and then going from there. Sugarcane is not something I've ever gotten involved in. I watched a bunch of YouTubers when Platinum 17 came out, and obviously one of the fields is sugarcane and it's all set up to go, and I watched them do it and said, yeah, not really, thank you. So the upshot is I've never done sugarcane. I have done sugar beets, especially if I'm doing pigs. I'll usually plant sugar beets because if I'm already invested in corn and sunflowers, it's the same planter to plant beets. And then you just need the harvesting equipment, and the harvesting equipment for beets is a little more, what's the word? The equipment for beets has a better working width and better capacity than the equipment for potatoes. So sugar beets is slightly less painful than potatoes to harvest, but I'll usually only harvest 1 or 2 fields before I say, okay, I'm done with those. I've got 50 crates of beets, I don't need any more. Oh, yeah, now there's a thing. Didn't think about that. Save the potatoes from the... I just like selling them because it makes me loads of money. I just don't like doing the potato contracts because it takes so long. But in a multiplayer farm, these high yield, low value crops you've got the people to make it fun, if you like. It's not just you driving up and down and up and down and up and down and, oh, unload it. I mean, 17, it wasn't so bad with doing a contract for potatoes or sugar beets because the equipment never filled up and you didn't have to worry about transporting it anywhere. But with 19, you're filling up the equipment so quickly. If you're playing on your own, you can set a worker off and transport to market, but the worker's going to be, filled up the harvester before you get back most of the time. So you unload the harvester once and then sit there while the worker fills it up for another 5 minutes. It's just tedious. It's not something I want to do solo.
Do it. No.
But with multiplayer and lots of people karting, and possibly 2 or 3 harvesters, you can get the job done fairly quickly, and it's good money. I haven't bothered with the more fuel consumption. I prefer the what was it in 17? It was the it was basically a mod that modified your power usage, so it made hills more significant and equipment power requirements more significant, and that upped your fuel consumption. If you driving a tractor like this just to the store and back with no weight on the back, you're using 20-30 litres an hour. But doing this with a plough, you're using 130 litres an hour, because the power it's not the power requirements of the equipment, it's the power requirements to overcome the drag of pulling 10 blades through the dirt, or maybe it's 8. And similar with 50,000 litre auger wagons, your power usage goes up a lot because of the weight of the grain in the wagon. And then with seeders, you've got 80% of the power output of your tractor is going through the PTO into the seeder. And that's increasing your fuel usage. And it's not so much a realistic fuel usage, it's a more realistic power. And it's why on Lawfolds, which I run on Saturday, I've got 3 tractors with 380 horsepower and upwards, and a lot of equipment that is at worst in the low 300 horsepower requirement because of the hills on that farm and how much it takes to overcome hauling the equipment up hills. But then again, I do run the realistic crop weight, whatever it is, mod. Which I think also affects pulling power. Must admit, I haven't tried running without that mod, but that little Zetor tractor that I run, it's got about 94 horsepower, and the cultivator I'm using has a 40 horsepower requirement, and yet 2 weeks ago we were struggling to haul that plow or that cultivator through the dirt. Not because I didn't have the power, but because I didn't have the traction.
Thank you! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
So yeah, big hint, if you're doing field work, wide tyres, double tyres, wheel weights and a front weight can make a big difference to
Yeah.
your ability to move your plough or cultivator through the field, and possibly even seeders. And that little tractor we have here has